What is going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of 6 Feet Under Fab. So I just had a bunch of parts just show up to my shop. Ever since I got my Jeep Gladiator, I have really wanted a soft topper and a bed rack. And I honestly couldn't figure out which one I wanted, and I ended up finding a soft topper used on Marketplace in the next town over, and so I jumped all over that. But I really wanted a rooftop tent on top of the Gladiator because I wanted to use it kind of like a rock lander. But I really wanted the soft topper and I really wanted the rooftop tent, and the only way I could do that was with a bed rack, which, lucky enough for me, I got in touch with TRUKD. So today's video is brought to y'all by TRUKD. You can check out all of their stuff on their website, www.gettruckd.com. I'll put a link in the description below. The TRUKD rack was pretty much the answer for my needs. So I wanted to keep the soft topper, I wanted to run a bed rack, I wanted to run some accessories, and I also wanted to run a rooftop tent. So this honestly checks off a lot of boxes. And speaking of boxes, check out what showed up to my shop today. So I've got this big box right here, and then these two right here. Let's go ahead and get them on the table. Probably need to go ahead and get my Jeep in here too. Might would help. So as soon as I open the box, I'm already pretty impressed. So it's got the QR code for the install right there. And then it has everything that are in these boxes. See, we got my name up there. That's pretty cool. But basically, this is everything. You can see they got it for a couple of different vehicles, but of course, this is going on a Jeep Gladiator. But that's really cool. I like this. I have the Gladiator in the shop. And if you're new to the channel, this is my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. So I just put these 39s on it yesterday, and man, does it look a lot better. As you can see, I have the soft topper on here, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take the soft topper off. That way I can get the TRUKD rack on, and then I will put the soft topper back on underneath the rack. I have everything that has come in the boxes laid out. I do have the rails right there. Kind of ran out of room. This is a lot of stuff, but it is kind of intimidating, but once you kind of start figuring out where everything goes, it's really not that bad. It's just like a big Lego set. So I do have some accessories, so you may not be getting all of this with yours, or you may be getting more with yours depending on what accessories you get, but we'll get into that. But the main pieces that I'm looking at right now are these pieces and these pieces. These are gonna be the main brackets. That's what I'm gonna call them. And they're gonna go somewhere right about there in the truck. And then those angled pieces are gonna go right here, and then obviously the rails are gonna run across. So everything that I have read, you pretty much put the rack together on the ground and then take it to the truck once it's partially put together. That way you're not fighting and you don't need 4 people. You can just kind of put it together on the ground and then transfer it to the truck. And another super convenient thing that they do is they label all the hardware. So you got hardware bag 4B, 3A, 2B, 1A. I believe the first thing that I have to do is open up hardware bag 4B, and I have to get those little lag bolts right there. I need to get those in these brackets right here. That way I can get them ready to, pretty much I'm going to be doing some pre-installment before I do a pre-installment, before I do a installment. I know that probably made 0 sense.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
So I accidentally busted the bag right here. That's why I went ahead and just poured them all out. But basically, I'm going to start just putting the little lag bolts in right there, and then the washers and the locking nuts. I'm gonna be putting those right there, and you can't really tighten them up just yet, so I'm just gonna get them to the nylon piece, and then I'm gonna wait to tighten them up later on once I get them adjusted. And it says clear as day in the instructions whenever you're putting this together, do not use any impact wrenches, impact guns, or anything like that. Just use basic hand tools, that way you don't strip anything out, damage anything. Basically, I'm just taking the lag bolt, dropping it in like that, taking my washer, dropping it on, then taking my lock nut, tightening it on. So another really cool thing is that I actually had a question about whether or not I needed to remove my entire soft topper. So I just sent them an Instagram message and was like, hey, do I need to completely remove my soft topper? Within 1 minute, they replied and told me that I needed to take the soft topper completely off and then reinstall it once the top is on. So the customer service is absolutely phenomenal. So literally, as soon as I sent the message, I saw the 3 little dots coming up. You really can't beat that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do this for the rest of these brackets. So now that I have all the lag bolts and that, I'm going to pretty much do the same thing to this. So I'm just going to be installing this bolt just like that, and putting a washer on this side and a locking nut and a locking nut right there. But there's also 2 holes on the bottom, so I'm going to be dropping those in there just like that. And same thing, washer and locking nut. So I've got 4 of these to do. So now I'm going to get all the lag bolts and the locking nuts on these. All right, so now we're at the back of the truck because I needed some more room and I'm running out of surface area in my shop here. I have the long crossbar right here, and I'm going to be taking these brackets right here and I'm going to be lining up all 4 of these lag bolts, and those actually go in perfectly right here. So I'm going to slide those on, and then if they don't fit, just twist them and they'll go right in just like that. So I'm not sure exactly where those are going to live, so they'll stay there for right now. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the opposite side, just slide it in this way. Hey, cool. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the other rails. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically pre-assemble all this. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this bracket right here, and this is the bracket that supports to this bracket here. And then this actually goes onto the tray that goes on top of the Jeep. And so you've got these little white washers right there. They're just alignment. They're just kind of like alignment spacers, alignment washers, whatever you want to call them. But they slide into those ears right there. And then I'm going to actually flip this over like that. And it's going to go on just like that. So these racks have a couple of different options. You could put this plate on it right here, but I'm going to be putting this on the website. This is called the 6.5 accessory panel, and I'm going to be putting this at the top for right now. So I'm going to lay this down first, just like that. Stay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to line it up. So those white spacers will go into these holes right here. and everything lines up. So then on the front side, you have these bolts right here, white alignment spacers that are a little bit bigger, and they actually go on just like that. And then I'm going to line this back up, pick it all up, push that bolt up. Need to get everything squared up again. And then I'm going to take a washer and a locking nut and go ahead and turn on. So now I'm just going to repeat the same process, just like that. So full disclosure is I put this rack on the Jeep already and realized that it had to come off because it bolts to these support brackets. So I went ahead and took it back off. But I just wanted to throw this in there so that way you know, depending on what accessories you get with yours, you need to be mindful of those accessories because they play a key part into the actual structure of the rack. So you don't have to have the accessories, but if you're gonna run them, you need to prepare during the install of this bed rack. Now that I have these kind of just standing up on their own, I need to connect them, and I'm going to do that with these pieces that I left over here. So these pieces right here is going to be what connects this to this, and so now I need to line these up just like that. Okay. Then these, and so what you do is you connect, so basically this piece right here, you have the same lag bolts and they slide in, and then you can tighten them down so you can kind of, you know, adjust how far or how close you want these to be. So there's a lot of adjustment in this system right here that I really appreciate. So now I'm just going to pretty much repeat the same process. Put the lag bolt. So there's 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. Just like that. Get it started. And now I'll just go all around and get all these on. All right, so now we're to the point we need to actually get it in the back of the truck. So I have my dad right here. He's going to help me pick it up. You want to use more than one person. That way you don't risk scratching the truck or anything like that or messing the bed rack up. So I've kind of got my measurements all squared away. So hopefully it'll just plop right into place, but we'll see. I can put these little cover plates right here. And see, what's awesome is I can change all this all around. So when I first put this together, I had it a certain way, and then halfway through I wanted to do it different, so I could. So that was really convenient. But that's what's cool about this bed rack is it's pretty universal and it fits a lot of the needs for a lot of people. So just go ahead and tighten this stuff on down. So what I've got to do now is I've got to get these brackets on, and what they do is they just pretty much just slide up under here, and what it does, it just pinches the seam right here to the actual bed rack, and that's what keeps it on. So it does come with the supplied bolts right here, and I may put a little bit of Loctite on there, and that way I just make sure they don't loosen up. So yeah, let's go ahead and get these on. So I'm just gonna reach up behind here. And now I can take my bolt lock washer and my regular washer. Go ahead and get those started. So I'm just gonna snug these down just a little bit, and then I'm gonna get the rest of them on, and then I'm just gonna torque them all down pretty much at the same time. So I pretty much have everything torqued down the way I want it. I know I'm gonna have to do some adjustments whenever I put the rooftop tent on, but now I really want to get the soft topper underneath the rack just to make sure that it's gonna clearance and everything like that, because I didn't measure anything or the soft topper, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the soft topper in. So I have the bed rack all tightened up, and now really the only thing I have to do is take this end plate right there and just put it right there, and you got some push pins that you push in, and that's really going to clean this up. So this is really the last thing that you have to do. So now I'm going to go to all four corners and put in the end caps. So as you can see behind me, I have my rooftop tent, and that's the tent that I had on my full-size Jeep Cherokee. What I'm gonna do is just lower it down with the hoist onto the Get Truck rack, and we'll get it bolted down. So in order to get the tent to stay on the rack, I had to get some brackets from TRUKD, and basically you can see right there that the rooftop tent already has some braces that run underneath it. All I have to do is just put these on there, tighten them up, make sure that it's squared on the rack, and we're good to go camping. All right, so I have everything on, got everything tight. I went back over and just remeasured everything, retorqued everything, just making sure I hadn't left out any bolts or anything. One of the accessories that I got was, I got these mounts that will mount a bike rack, but I don't have a bike rack yet, so I got to wait on that right now. But I think that's gonna be super cool because I like riding BMX, I like riding mountain bikes. And my little boy is getting up to where he likes to go out riding and stuff, and it would be super cool and convenient to just be able to put my bike on the side of the truck and not have to cram it into the back of a Gladiator. Well, everybody with the Gladiator knows that the space in these beds is very limited. Even though they look super long, there's really not a whole lot of room. So if I go somewhere with my family of 4 and we all bring bicycles, I have to drive my F-250 because they won't all fit in this because my mountain bike is so big. But now that I have the TRUKD rack, I can just put these on, and then my bike can go on the side. I may get another one for the other side and kind of have like a his and hers side bikes. I don't know, it just opens up so much opportunity. So I was kind of in a pinch because I needed to get this rack on the Jeep because I plan on taking it to the off-road affair and overlanding event happening in my hometown of Kinston, North Carolina, the second weekend in March. It's gonna be March 7th through the 9th. We're gonna have off-roading, we're gonna have food trucks. We have a huge off-road course, and I'll be there under my 6 feet under fab tent, and I'm gonna have this displayed. I'm actually camping in this that weekend, so now I don't have to put up a tent for the event. So that is like super cool. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all watching this video. Make sure y'all check out TRUKD. And if you don't mind, hit that like button and make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any future content on this Gladiator or any other of my off-road builds. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next week.